thank you everyone for joining us on this conversation on the cheetah. This is a very, very special conversation for me because I have with me Dr. Ranjitsinh, who is known to be the father of the Wildlife Protection Act of India and has been responsible for the creation of some of the most well-known and important wildlife protected areas in India today. He has helped to create what we have today in the way of a wildlife conservation movement and guides us till today on which direction the country should move in. We also have with us Dr. Chavda. He has been somebody who has been very multifaceted throughout his career, and one of the hats he wore was wildlife conservation. He's done some extraordinary books on cheetahs in India and cheetahs and Asiatic lions. We have with us Elena, who heads the Meru cheetah research program, and she has been working on cheetah conservation now for 36 years. So over to you, Elena. Tell us a little bit about what you have been studying and what you have found out about cheetah relocation, cheetah introductions, and helping the cheetah population grow and expand from its present home ranges to other parts.
Thank you very much for this introduction. So let's start from one thing. I've been working with cheetahs for 36 years, almost 15 years in captivity, and then other years in the wild in different countries. And experience in captivity helped me to interpret behavior in the wild and vice versa, because I'm actually consulting our zoo and our conservation center on certain issues which they have with cheetahs in captivity. So we yesterday were just touching the base of translocation of cheetahs, and I mentioned one case when I observed two cheetahs who were kept in captivity in semi-wild environment, prepared to be released, and those two cubs who were rescued from the mother because mother disappeared have been fed with only wild animal meat, but not actually live food, but with prepared meat, which was good already, but unfortunately they had too much contact with people because they could see people who are coming to clean enclosure, who were not petting them, but at least calling them by names for feeding. At that time when we picked up the cubs with rangers, they were approximately 2.5 months old. So already they were eating meat, not milk. Which again was good. So when they were released at the age of approximately 1 year, 2 months, which is appropriate age, they were supplementary fed because they were trying to hunt inappropriate prey like zebras, large warthogs, and it took them some time to actually understand how to hunt. And they became very successful. It was a female and a male.
So may I just come in on this? How many, I mean, if cheetahs from Iran are crossing over, but Iran itself seems to have very few cheetahs left. So I don't think that's going to get very far with them crossing across into the areas that you want them to come to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You see, I think that we should not be in a hurry. That's the thing, because when somebody was again recently telling me that it would be so nice to catch some Asiatic cheetahs from Iran and then place them in captivity and then place them somewhere, so we have to be so careful because every single individual matters. If it I think that maybe while we have some cheetahs, maybe 70 to 90 individuals, correct? Of Asiatic cheetahs.
I'm told 40.
40. It's terrible. I don't know in this case, because I'm not involved in Asian project, but I think it could be put maybe a lot of efforts to save environment, natural environment there in Iran to support cheetahs. That's anyway that needed to be done, right?
May I?
So, yes, because otherwise,
Yes.
Sorry. where exactly, you're not clear in the question to slightly speak up. Where exactly was this reintroduction thing? Because I couldn't get it very clearly. Was it Kazakhstan or Turkmenistan?
Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan. I got it. Uzbekistan. Now, in that area, I hope I may ask you a few questions so that you can then give a composite reply. I hope they will not be interbreeding between any stragglers from Iran, the Asiatic cheetah.
Of course.
And the South African, because that will spoil the entire effort.
Absolutely.
It will ruin it. Secondly, Dr. Chavda said there were 40. My information is that there are now only 3 relic populations numbering, and that was 2 years ago, less than 30, of which only 2 are breeding.
Mm-hmm.
So they are in the vicinity of 28 or less. And they are south of the Gulistan National Park, which is in the Elbow, in the eastern side of Elbow. The other thing is, you mentioned rabbits, but there are hares there, no rabbits. And there are maybe 2 or 3 varieties. One are very small pika hares. The other is probably the desert hare, Diana. And the third is a large one which goes on into Kazakhstan and elsewhere, which is the Tolai hare. So do you, and what other natural prey do you have there? Gazelle? Which gazelle? Gapsam, Persian gazelle?
We don't hear you.
Are there any Uriel there? What is the natural prey?
Very good question. That was my question also. So that's the problem, because of hyper poaching in 1970s and 80s of Saiga antelope, which was the main prey. Yes, now population isn't improving, but it's only in the conservation center, which is in Bukhara. And it's actually not wild population, it's fence population. And Ustyurt is pretty far away from there. So basically, we cannot, that's my personal opinion, we cannot just take a cheetah somewhere where there is no food at all.
Absolutely.
And the second thing, my concern was inbreeding between two different subspecies. That's why I was so happy to hear that Asiatic cheetah appeared at the edge of that former historical range, because it shows that we cannot introduce South African subspecies there, because they can. First of all, they will die because there is no food. But if they succeed, they can really contribute to disappearing native subspecies. So that's why for preparing the areas. Like, for example, there was an idea to set up more conservation areas in Ustyurt and then improve prey base, build good infrastructure, and prepare everything properly. I was giving examples of how to prepare it by displaying your proposals and programs made in India for introduction of cheetahs in India, where everything is considered in details. So that's what I was thinking, a proper approach. You prepare everything and then you apply. We prepare the environment, we just need cheetahs.
So maybe this is a good time for you to tell us about the Cheetah Reintroduction program.
No, if I may ask about you see, you cannot depend upon the Saiga. The Saiga is a migratory animal, and the Saiga comes up at a latitude of much north of this area. It comes up to southwards, up to due west of the Fargana Valley. They don't come up into the area close to the Iran border in Uzbekistan, and then they migrate north. So, I mean, you expect the cheetah to move with the Saiga and get frozen up there. Even the adapted cheetah, which has a more furry coat, the Iranian cheetah, but your Namibian cheetah will freeze and they can migrate. This saiga is a migratory animal. I think conceptually you will have to think about it, and they have to think about it.
Of course, they
must have a stationary base. The cheetah is not a migratory creature. So that is the other. Okay.
Absolutely. In Kenya, for example, they migrate, but the climate is still the same, and along the way they have a lots of prey of different species, and they have food competitors, but not that many species as, for example, in Uzbekistan, because even small jackals who are living in the packs, they affect cheetahs. Other cats who are really adapted to live in these areas, they will really compete. So I would say there is no way to reintroduce cheetahs in Uzbekistan, and I'm not fighting, I'm very peacefully fighting, I'm slowing it down, because I don't want, even if the money will be released for that, I want people to understand that it's really serious thing. Sometimes they're saying they can hunt, this crossbreed between wild ass and wild horse. We have some animals like that there. I'm sorry, I don't know the English name. I have to look. But still, they're too big for cheetahs. Even condition of cheetahs won't be able. It's like a big zebra. There's no way. Found won't help. And also, what I did, I calculated how much is intake per year for one cheetah of meat. It's clear that you can't freeze the rest of the meat and feed for a week. So it's basically 1 kill per feeding. And if it's a single male, for example, a single female, it will be, for example, 1 antelope, which will be not even consumed maybe fully. And next 3 days, it will need more food. The colder, the more food you need. And I found out that this population, which they have of it critically endangered saiga antelope, will last for 2 months. So you see, even if they reproduce, it won't help. So I'm trying my best, because I think it's a responsibility for the whole world.
So could we talk about India and cheetahs? I think that would be the next subject.
Okay.
Please, yes.
As you know, Elena, I'm planning to reintroduce the cheetah in India. But prior to that, we are going to reassess the suitability of the habitat. But more than the suitability of the habitat, which we have assessed, is the quantum of prey that is available, and what needs to be done to upgrade those areas for the arrival of the cheetahs, so that you have a sustainable population, which then can be multiply and spread in the neighboring areas. They could have spatial distribution. But that apart, there are a couple of questions that I wanted to ask you, and with regard to your expertise. And this is what I have been also discussing with Latika, whether it is more advisable, suitable to get wild-caught cheetahs, which are prescribed as cattle lifters, and you know the story in Namibia, where they are prescribed and they can be hunted. They are described as livestock raiders, and they can even be shot and exported out of Namibia under society. Her opinion was it is better to take, because she says that if you get wild